I do. Look, we were doing so well with no brass, and now you have to. What happened? Did you fucking cook your brain yesterday, mate? You fucking cooked yourself driving.
Oh, God. Man, we're going to get into that in a second, but it was a whole thing. Like, you know how some days they're a thing or they're a big thing? This was a whole thing.
This day was a week compressed into one day.
It really felt like it. It was the worst.
Yeah, I've had those days.
Managed to pull through, get there in the end.
Look, as long as you didn't as long as you didn't have a fucking Britney Spears meltdown and shave your head.
No Britney Spears meltdown. No, I've got more hair now than I think I've ever had. Actually, funnily enough, I think this is the longest my hair has ever been.
But do you have a beard? Because that counts. If you
I
don't
do.
Have a beard,
yeah,
then
I also have a beard. I don't have the longest beard I've ever had.
That doesn't
the
count.
longest beard I've ever had was like 2 inches or something. Like it was pretty fucking long.
Full beard or nothing.
Yeah, it was like proper like Ned Kelly length. I'll find a video for you at some point. But
I got to complain to you. I have to start this by complaining to you that.
I was about to be like intro right at the bat, but I'm letting you go. This has to come out immediately.
Asshole thing. This fucking 2 terabyte that just decided, yeah, I'm dead now. I'm going to die like soon, any day, maybe. Could be tomorrow. Could be 2 months. You'll never know. One day I'll just stop working. It's like, oh, well, fuck me then. I guess I got to, in the middle of moving house, but sure, I guess I have to spend money on this fucking thing as well, or else I will lose one of the places that I have all the NULLSCORE footage backed up, because not everything's on the Google Drive or else it would be full. And I can't be fucked paying. Yeah. It's too much storage. It's too much. I would be paying too much. Like the next step up from what I'm already paying is a bit of a jump, and it would be way too much.
I have 2 terabyte for mine. If you need,
so
to
do I.
Where mine is.
I have 2 terabyte now. Yeah.
So you're almost full.
Yeah, because my footage is only about 3 gig for the whole show. Your footage is about 8. I don't know what settings you have different, but your fucking footage is more than double the size of mine. And the end result, Hamish, is the same because they both get squished down to a quarter of what 1080p is.
I'm sitting here, got the fucking bitrate way up, like, man, I look crispy.
And then you
people
get
look up the YouTube video. Oh, man.
Anyway, I had to replace this fucker, and I'm like, I'm not buying another 2 terabyte and then running out of space anyway, because I've been juggling shit for a while anyway, uninstalling games and whatever bullshit. So I was like, fuck it, I'm buying a 4 terabyte.
Yep.
And I was like, well, while I'm at it, I may as well buy an SSD to stash some of my games on that I play all the time, so they load a bit quicker. And now I'm looking at NVMe drives as well to put my OS on. Like, this is one of those fucking upgrade snowballs. That's what's happening. Oh, and then while I was looking at SSDs to replace my OS drive, because I want to go NVMe, the fucking monitor that I use to like keep an eye on everything when I'm either recording or streaming turned blue.
Ooh.
Just like blue tinge over everything.
Oh.
So I turned it off and back on, and it came back on and worked for a little while, and then it like went all skewed and fucking off.
Blue again.
Like everything moved up by about an inch on the monitor. And now it just plays up and has random fucking problems. It's probably still in warranty, but it's like, do I want another one of these? If this is what it's going to do, is the other one just going to like wait until the end of the warranty and do the same thing, or do I just want to fucking take it back for an exchange and get something a bit better and spend another $100, $200 on that? Fucking why not? I'm spending money on everything else.
Yeah, I think
fuck me.
The monitors I have, I'm a bad example. I've got like pretty nuts monitors. If you've
I thought you had a crap one. I thought you had like one really nice one and a shit one that you didn't care about.
So that's how I was originally, and then I got a third monitor. So I have a 1080p monitor, which is like, it's just a panel. It's not like it's not a good monitor, but it's not like awful. Like it's 1080p monitor. It's fine. And then I've got a 1440p 144 hertz monitor. Mm-hmm. And that's what my center 16:9 ratio is. And then I also have a 21:9 1440p ultra wide. So I bought the ultra wide. I play on my 16:9 monitor,
Oh, yeah.
but
you might.
I'm strongly considering now that I'm doing like the reason I play on my 16:9 monitor is because I had it for content creation and streaming. Now, since I've moved to more hobbyist kind of stuff, I might end up playing more games on my 21:9 monitor.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's like.
You're going to have the same problem
again,
Blash and a bunch of other guys have, though. You're going to have black bars unless you...
If I'm making content when I have it like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So the idea is that I would play it just for when I'm just playing... Like if I'm playing Hitman 2 or something, like, you know, a game where I won't make content out of it.
You just play on the big one, just for your own enjoyment.
Pretty much, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like ultra wide monitors are a heap of fun. If you've got one at home or if you ever get the chance to check one out, I would recommend. And I went and I got a Predator X34 back when those things were like
Ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, so it cost me like
I like how
$2,000.
You went for the perspective of, mate, it was fucking cutting edge tech, and I'm like, yeah, they were overpriced. Those are the
they
two different
really
ways we
were.
view things. Yeah.
It was So the whole it's an ultra wide 1440p curved panel with G-Sync,
and you've got a fucking 9900K, I think, as well, don't you?
Yeah, my rig is overkill.
And
you should never use my system specs.
What the fuck do you upgrade then? Nothing. You had 64 gigs of RAM. There's no upgrade path.
My GPU potentially, but I'm running a 2070 Super. So
yeah, look, until 3070s come back down to proper pricing around the 900 mark, which they won't for a while because of availability, then I wouldn't bother.
Yeah,
I went for a look the other day because I was like, maybe I'll replace my 2070, and I saw that they're all like they're floating around 1,000 or higher. I was like, nah, I don't.
Yeah,
I won't for that. I won't do it. I'll wait.
Yeah, demand is like crazy high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people upgrading from 10 series though. That's why. Like they skipped 20s entirely because they were overpriced for the performance boost.
20s weren't a good jump. Yeah.
No, they weren't. They weren't. But I had my own reasons for upgrading, which were not entirely on me. But anyway, let's but before we get too far ahead.
Yeah. That's just what happens when you give a manlet lawyer money. Like that's just PC upgrades happen.
Fucking makes it rain in his man cave, in his nerd cave.
Yeah. It's probably the weirdest flex I've ever done, but I've also
a very understanding
manlet.
girlfriend. She doesn't complain at all when you're just like, I'm just going to spend a whole bunch of fucking money on my PC. Why? For streaming.
Well, she knows because like. She makes a big deal out of like events and stuff, so I'll like put a heap of effort into gifts and whatnot. Anyway,
yeah.
Point. Red's a champ. You're right. In any event, welcome to NULLSCORE, the podcast that's basically never on time anymore. My name's Hamish. This is my co-host Jim, who's always on time and never makes us late to a recording. What's it like to always be on time, man? God, I wonder who wrote this intro.
No, I saw you typing it up earlier. What do you mean? That's 100% accurate. Everything there.
It's 100% accurate. Absolutely.
Do you like the working title for the episode? Do you want to read it out?
It says episode 36. Ah!
Yeah.
Which is
I don't have a title.
Pretty good one. I'm just checking my like clock as I'm yelling because it's like 8:45.
It's late. Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah. I mean, it's not super late. So okay, for those of you that know the inner workings, and we mention this every like second podcast, but the whole idea for NULLSCORE is that we generally try to record on a Sunday morning-ish. Lately, I think we have recorded less on Sunday morning than literally any time else.
Was when we tried to.
Yeah, Saturday morning, yeah. But lately it's been particularly difficult. Now, last Saturday morning, I think you had stuff you needed to do.
Yeah, I was still I was moving stuff out of the old house and cleaning.
Yes.
And just,
And then I had what I have referred to as the turbo road trip in the script. Now, I'm going to paint this picture for you because I don't think you've got the whole story yet. And
I have almost none of it. I'm not going to jump ahead. I'll let you do this.
No, that's all right. I'll let the audience in on this one as well. So I live in Mount Isa. For those that don't know, it's a mining town. It's kind of like the biggest place in the region, but it's it's still in the middle
That's
of
not
nowhere.
really saying much.
Yeah, it's a
Still
town
isolated.
of 20,000, and that's like the city for the residents. Doesn't have a dry cleaner. You know, like I keep using that as an example, but it is so fucking frustrating.
To me, that is
But
just such a fucking like. It's such a middle of the city white dude thing to say. Like, it doesn't even have a dry cleaner. Good lord.
I can't clean my fucking suits. I work in them. So I have to like get special, trousers or whatever. It's a pain in the ass. Point is, right, I live in the middle of nowhere. I live in a very regional area. Now, my mate, his girlfriend and my coworker, right? So that's 2 people, not 3 people. I did such a horrible job of explaining that. But my coworker, Lauren, or that's not her real name, and my mate, Michael, are in a relationship, and Lauren went to go and move down to Gladstone, right? And she went down, oh God, would have been Saturday or Friday even. They got all of their gear in. And Gladstone, by the way, is like a 10, 11 hour journey, I think, from Mount Isa. It's a 10, 11 hour car trip.
It's a drive.
Yeah. And they took 2 cars and a 4-wheel drive ute with a box trailer on the back of it, right? And they took that down to Gladstone, got all of her stuff down there, and then my mate starts driving back, right? So he's heading up on the way back. And he breaks down 3 Ks outside of a town called Winton, right? Now, Winton, if you looked on a map, is about between the O and the F if someone wrote down middle of fucking nowhere on a map.
Yep.
It's tiny, tiny town, right? Like it's got, the CBD, and they got like some nice garden beds, and they've got one of those big wooden signs that says tiniest town in northeast West Queensland, or some really obscure claim to fame.
Northeast West Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Yep.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, the famous federal pub, and I'm like, I have literally
The famous.
One, I've never heard of this town. 2, famous to who? The 12 people that play the
Famous
pokies
thing
on a Friday?
that no one has ever fucking heard of before.
Yeah. So, and basically, he broke down out of Winton, right? Now, I, at the time, was in the comfort of my home playing video games. And I ended up just chucking him a message because I knew that he was driving up. And I said, hey, man, how goes the trip? And he calls me over Messenger, right? Now, this is an important detail. This is an important detail because, one, I have this man's phone number, right? So if he needs to ring me, usually he just uses like a phone call, like a regular cellular network phone call.
Yep.
2 is he only ever calls me when we're working, right? So any other like form of communication is usually handled over Messenger or like when we're in the gym. So immediately I'm very, very confused as to what's going on.
You pull that face like, no, I don't want to talk. Just message me back, please.
Well, that was the thing. I was just like questing at the time. I got a loud keyboard. I was like, shit.
Yeah, all right then.
So I answered the phone. I put him on speaker. I was like, damn it! If he's gonna hear the click on my keyboard, he's gonna hear the click of it. And he walks me through this story, right? Because at this point, I didn't know that he'd broken down. And he says, you need to listen to the time that I've had. I'm like, okay, tell me what's going on. And he goes, I broke down 3 Ks out of Winton. And I was like, okay, well, how bad is it? And he's like, well, my radiator's cracked. Like,
Jesus.
It's got a big 1.5 inch crack in it. It's useless.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so the car's not going anywhere. And he goes, yeah. So what happened was I managed to get it to a servo, right? But then like couldn't drive it anymore because radiator's
Yeah,
busted. And he basically he put some fuel in it whilst he was there, and then went to go in and pay for some fuel, and realized his card was locked. Right. What had happened was, because he was traveling to Gladstone and buying road food along the way, his bank registered the transactions as unusual. Yeah. So the good guy, Combank employee's gone, oh, you know what? Let's lock his card. Maybe someone's yoinked it.
Don't they usually message? I get a text from Westpac if they're going to do that. I get a text from them.
Well, this is the cool part, right? He's on Optus. The trouble with Optus in regional areas is they've got shit coverage.
Yeah.
So he's got no service, right?
Yeah.
So now he's in the servo and his card's locked and he has no service, right? So he turns to the service station employee and he says, listen, my card's locked. Can I borrow your Wi-Fi temporarily? I will, use the online banking client, unlock my card. I'll pay for the fuel and I'll be out of your hair, right?
Yep.
Clark says no.
Okay.
Clark's like, nope, you can't use the Wi-Fi. He's like, are you serious? I'm trying to pay you right now. And they're like, no, absolutely not. So he leaves his driver's license and wallet with this service station.
Yep.
And has to walk the 3Ks closer to town. Ends up walking into Winton. Gets to the courthouse, funnily enough, because courthouses have free Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And a lot of us, lawyers, will set up accounts with the public. You know how sometimes you have to log into a client to use public Wi-Fi?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a special one for courthouses, and we usually have an account. So he manages to get to the courthouse, log in, unlock his card, walk back to the service station, which, by the way, takes him about an hour.
Yep.
My understanding is, right? And it's not walking in, 24-degree heat in runners. Mm-hmm. Man's in loafers in 40-degree heat, and he's got 2 hours before it gets dark. So
look, I've had a very similar experience. I'm going to interject for a second, where I ran out of fuel. North Fremantle, just over the bridge from there's a BP across the road from an Officeworks. Anyone who knows the Fremantle area well enough will know exactly where that is. Mm-hmm. So I had to cross the road because I was on the wrong side of the fucking road. So I had to cross the road to be on the right side to walk across the bridge to the BP. Had to buy a fuel can, fill the fucking thing up just enough that I could actually put it into my ute. Then drive the ute to the servo, the same servo that I bought the fuel from in the first place, in the fuel can. Fill up and then drive home. And that was in, that would have been late February this year. Late February, early March, somewhere around there. It was fucking hot here then in my work clothes, which are, because of where I work, I have to have long sleeves and fucking proper pants, long pants.
Yeah,
and
PPE.
Shit. I smelt like shit. I looked like a fucking yobbo. I looked like a troublemaker, honestly. Walking around with fucking thing of fuel, looking like shit. So I understand some of what your friend has gone through. That's my point.
Yeah. Yeah. So manages to get to the car, pays for the fuel, right? Now, at this point, he has one saving grace, right? In that he has RACQ. So the RACQ bloke manages to come out and pick up his car and put it on a trailer and tow it back into Winton, right? So now he gets into a hotel there, sets up a bed, connects to the Wi-Fi, and this is where he calls me, right? So now we're back to the present day.
Yep.
Present time in this
story. Up to you
story,
receiving this
right?
unwanted phone call.
Yes. Now, he then explains to me that everything is fucked because he's calling me Saturday night, right? And he has taken the Monday off work because he's got carpet cleaners coming in on Monday to clean his old place, because that's why he was driving in the first place, is he was moving his girlfriend out. So he's going to go at a new place. And to be clear, it was an amicable amicable split. She moved for work, right? So they're going to try a long distance thing, but he's moving to a smaller apartment, so he pays less rent, right?
Yep.
So he's getting people in to come and clean the place, but the house is a bomb site. And the only bus that goes back into Mount Isa is on Tuesday, right? So all of these, carefully laid plans that he'd had just single-handedly gone to shit with this crack in the radiator. Mm-hmm. Like, threw his whole schedule off. And I said to him, where are you? He's like, I'm in Winton. And I did some, second monitor, Google, Mount Isa to Winton, 5 hours by car, right? And I was like, holy shit. That's a long way. So I don't say anything on the call, right? Because in my brain, I'm partially ashamed to say this, but I was like, my mate he was stranded out there, and my brain was like, that's 10 hours of driving. That is 10 hours, Hamish.
No, everyone's fucking brain does. Like anyone who tries to say that their brain doesn't go there is lying. Like, even if you do decide to help the guy, absolutely, your brain's gone, do you want to spend an entire fucking day driving in the car? You sure you want to do that?
Yeah. And so Red comes into the room, and Red's gesturing at the phone and, like, pointing at the door, like, we could go get him. We could go get him. Like, 5 hours is possible. And I'm sitting there with, like, one hand on my forehead, like, yeah, I know we can go and get him. I'm just... I just don't want
to.
Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, and I'd have you come get me, but like I'd ask you to come get me, but like one, that's like a lot to do, but like two, I've got this trailer, right? Now, had I still been living in Brisbane, this would be a problem because I was still driving an MX-5.
Yeah.
However, when I moved up to Mount Isa, I traded out my hairdresser vehicle for a more traditional, patriotic Commodore, which conveniently has a tow ball on it. So I said to him, I was like, well, that's actually not a huge issue because the Commodore has a tow ball. And he's like, holy moly. I was like, yeah. So now both of us have all of the information required. He knows I'm not doing anything Sunday. He knows I have a Commodore. He knows I have a tow ball on that Commodore. And he knows that I know that he's stuck.
Yep.
At this point, we're locked in. Yeah. Okay? At this point, we're locked in. So I'm like, okay. So it's about 6:30 Saturday night, and I'm like, rightio. We're gonna go fetch him. We're gonna go fetch him. So I turn to Red and I'm like, right, we need to get the car sorted now because when you're dealing with 10 hours of driving in the regions, there's two big things that you want to avoid. One is driving at night. If you drive at night, there's far more risks involved, namely like tired road train drivers, and I'll get to road trains in a second, but also roos. So around dawn and dusk, you'll get kangaroos and stuff that will come out into the road and they're just like, you know what? I'm done with life. And they'll get obliterated by
they fucking
a road
launch
train
themselves towards you.
Yeah. And they're heavy. They're really heavy.
Fucking tough,
if you've ever hit a roo in a car before, it just buckles. It's like hitting a metal pole.
I've seen one launch itself into a windscreen, bounce off. The car fucking stopped because the windscreen was absolutely destroyed, and the kangaroo jumped away.
It was like a bit bruised at Smarts. Yeah. So we prepped the car, got some food. All right. Went up to a service station at like 9 p.m. on a Saturday night to find a trailer to car adapter. Because when you hook up a trailer to a car, you got to make sure all the blinkers and stop lights and whatnot work. So you have to get a special adapter sometimes for cars. We went and got one of those, went to bed. Then, game day. All right? Wake up, 5 a.m. on the dot. All right? Now, any other day, this is pretty early, but not super early. Okay? There are people that wake up at like 4:30 most days. All right? But it's a Sunday, and I was not going to do anything that day. All right? So this is really early. In the car by 5:15. Thankfully, Red, in all her wisdom, is just a fantastic planner. So before we even went to sleep, she was like, okay, water bottles are going in this bag. We're going to put it in the fridge. That way you get up, get your shoes on, just walk out the door, right? Plan worked beautifully. Woke up at 5, in the car by 15:15. In the car, Macca's brekkie, because a Macca's breakfast is mandatory on any sort of road trip. I will not hear argument to the contrary. And then onto the highway by 5:30, right? We get down to Winton pretty smooth, all right? Winton is an easy 5 hours when you're doing the speed limit, like you're doing regular time.
Yeah, okay.
We got there in 4. We were also doing the speed limit. I am uncertain as to whether they need to update the maps or what needs to happen, but, you know, we get into Winton and pull up outside the pub with my mate, and I'm doing... You know how when you're in a car for a long time, you get out, you start doing those like squats, like you kind of like drop your butt to your heels and then like stand up and then do it again. Yeah, just stretch it out, right? Yeah, it almost looks like you're going to do that Russian dance where they like flick their legs out, where they crouch really low, but you never do the leg flicky bit. Yeah. So he comes out of the pub, and you have to understand, my mate's the kind of guy where he dresses real sharp. Yeah? So wherever we're working, he's always looking real clean cut, gets his hair cut every 4 or 5 weeks. He's always looking real sharp, right? He comes out of this pub looking like it's 4 a.m. on a Saturday and he's wearing a sparkly dress. You know what I'm saying? Like... He comes out of this pub, I'm like,
dude,
you
didn't go to bed the night before.
You've been having a rough day. You're having a shit time. We load him up in the car, right? Managed to hook up the trailer. Okay. Now, this is where the fun begins, right? Because if you've ever driven a trailer, well, if you ever towed a trailer for one, but if you've ever driven long distances, there's 2 things that are a huge concern. One is the car that you're driving. You're usually pretty, depending on what kind of car you have, if you've got a really new car, it's never usually a real concern. But for me, watching the heat of your engine and hoping that you don't blow a tire or something like that, going those kinds of distances. So that's kind of in the back of my head. But when you're towing a trailer, right? And it makes sense when I say it now, but when you're in the car, you probably sometimes you don't think about it. That's a huge weight behind the car. And it changes the way that it behaves, as far as acceleration is concerned. But what I found the weirdest was driving back on this trip. By the way, this is like the 5th or 6th hour driving straight this day, by the way. When you drive for that long, everything kind of just melds together. But the wind resistance on the trailer behind the car would come and go because these gusts would come across these big empty plains and it would slam into the front end of the trailer because it was just a 90-degree flat angle. It wasn't like,
You've never driven
curved
a,
like the bonnet
a small
of the car.
truck with a box on the back, have you?
No. No. And the wind, it pushes and it it feels like your chair's being pulled out from under you. Mm-hmm. It's just a little feeling, but it's kind of unsettling. And if you've never been used to that, it was wild.
Man, you got to
nuts.
try driving a big enough vehicle to have that sort of feeling from the wind, but in a proper fucking storm, in a full on storm. You try driving one of those fuckers around in that, it gets
it's gnarly, hey.
It gets a bit fucking hectic sometimes.
Yeah, and for you international viewers as well, when you're driving like that, there's one hazard which I don't think is as prevalent in other countries, which is road trains, right? I say road trains are a hazard because if you've ever driven past one on a highway and the road train's booking it, what will happen is it creates this pocket of air. So it'll push through, and because it's so big and moving so quickly, what happens is it kind of sucks you in to the side of the vehicle. You ever get that when you drive past road trains?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's
because there's lots of roads here. There's lots of roads here where they can do 110, 120. Mm-hmm. And they're single lane each side. Like it's just one lane forward and back. Yeah. So driving along them, I always slow down a bit because I don't want to get flung. Like it's like a fucking slingshot. If you're going fast enough, I feel like it would fling you off the other side of the road. Like you get sucked in behind them and end up off the other side.
Yeah. And this is not like, we're not exaggerating here, by the way. If you've never experienced driving past a road train, it genuinely feels like if you're going fast enough, it could push your car off course. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty and I think there are a lot of accidents that happen this way. Like people aren't ready for it.
Sometimes, yeah. But a lot of people are aware of it who drive those kind of roads now. It's always people who aren't used to it, who are unaware of what will happen. Yeah. If they don't slow down. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't pass a road train at like 120, 130. It's never a good idea. Never a good idea. But we managed to stop halfway, found like a country roadhouse out in the middle of nowhere. And had a very... I try to explain this meal to you because it's like... You know how you go to like a country pub or something and the servings are always like monstrous? Like they're always really big, proper like pub food plates.
They can be.
Can be. If you get a decent place. I went to this place. I was like, they were like, what do you want to eat? And I was looking through it and there was some, like a bunch of stuff there, like fish and whatnot. And I was like, I don't know if I want to eat fish when I'm like, you know.
What's the fish? How far are they from the fucking body of water? Yeah, how's the fish going to be?
So I was like, just give me a chicken schnitzel. Chicken schnitty, chips, and then salad, which in that kind of region is like shredded lettuce, tomato, beetroot, and pineapple.
Yep.
And then
maybe a boiled egg cut in half if you...
Yeah, boiled egg. Yeah, exactly. Boiled egg cut in half. Yeah. And an uncooked onion for flavor.
Yep.
And get back in the car, like 8-9 hours in, we managed to get start to see some of the surrounding towns back into Mount Isa. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, like 9-10 hour driving fatigue, that's some shit. Like that stuff sucks. There's a reason why a lot of truck drivers do ice. Man, you need something. You need something to keep you awake. And just keeping an eye out for road trains, roos, managing, engine heat, all of this sort of business. Finally got back to Mount Isa, right? We finally get back into town. He gets out of the car and I'm like, no worries, dude. Cheers. I'm fully ready to just go back home and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Right. I'm done. And he's like, cool. Just like drop the trailer off and I'll start moving my gear. And I stopped for a second. Because the story's not over, Jim. You would have thought getting back to Mount Isa that the story was over. But no. I say to him, what do you mean, move your stuff? He goes, well, I just got to move all of my stuff to the new place because I moved all of Lauren's stuff down to Gladstone and now I've got to get my stuff into the new place. And I said...
An entire house of shit?
What do you mean new stuff? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it, man. I can't ask you for more help. And I was like, Michael, what do you mean other stuff? He's like, oh, just like a fridge and a washing machine and a microwave. And I was like, Jesus Christ, you're trying to move white goods and you were planning on doing this by yourself? I felt so bad. I was like, so after this 10-hour return trip, I was help this man move house.
Yeah.
Finally getting stuff in, get into my house at like, I think it was like 7:38.
Mm-hmm.
I just made some food, fucking chilled out, vegged out. But literally 9 hours before I started that road trip, I was just playing games. I was just playing games.
Yeah.
Ready to have a day of it. And
See,
then all of a sudden,
messages that you sent to me was got back feeling fine. I saw that. I was like, oh, okay. And then the message that followed was, but straight up, would rather play games and eat food. Yeah.
That's
Makes
it.
sense.
It's literally it. Like, you feel mentally fried.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's this weird feeling where you're awake, but you don't want to do anything.
Because you've had to be, like, people don't realize how mentally exhausting driving is until they have to do it all day. Like, I was driving for a place, I've had a couple of jobs where I had to drive like little trucks, to be fair, but around Perth Metro and surrounding suburbs, and that driving that little truck around people who just so many of them should not have a license. They shouldn't have a license. And I had to navigate around them all fucking day. That was exhausting. Like, it's bad enough driving like those long straight roads, like, you know, where you just like it's going to be a 4 or 5 hour drive where you just there's nothing to keep you interested. It's so much worse having to drive, because I've done those trips as well, but having to drive around people who are just totally unaware of the limitations of a truck's braking capabilities and handling. They just drive around it like it's another car, as if it's an MX-5. It may as well be to them. They just They don't understand. You have to be so fucking alert because you'll kill someone.
Yeah.
You'll straight up fucking kill someone if you crash into them.
Yeah, and you'll get blamed for it.
It would have been my fault if some fucking idiot. Anyway, I know exactly what you mean. And it's like, after a full day of that, that's it. You're done. You don't want to do any more things. Like,
yeah. So you were like, hey, come do NULLSCORE. And I was like, yes, but also no.
No, I asked. I was like, yeah. I don't even think I asked you. I think you just said,
you said let me know when you get back. And
no,
so
my last message before that is don't push yourself too hard. If you're too worn out, don't stress. Because when you explained to me that it's going to be a 10-hour drive, I was like, yeah, I doubt you're going to. I knew exactly how you were going to feel because I've been there plenty of times for work. And I was like, yeah, he's probably not going to want to record. So I was pretty confident we wouldn't be recording yesterday.
Yeah.
After all that.
Yeah, so we managed to get him back in the end. He was still moving house last night. I think he stopped moving stuff at like 3:30 in the morning, and then ended up catching some sleep. Yeah.
Well, he lost a whole fucking day, pretty much, dude. Like,
yeah. That was the thing. He had a plan set out, and he had a day to move stuff. His plan was to be back in Mount Isa by.
This is why I gave myself
Saturday evening
2 to 3 more days than I thought I would need. I gave myself 3 extra days on top of when I thought I would be out, and I did need 2 of them.
Yeah,
you have to give yourself 2 or 3 days because shit will go wrong. People will cancel, cleaners won't turn up, fucking whatever. Shit won't get done right. You'll discover some damage or something that's broken, whatever, that needs to be fixed or replaced or something. There's always fucking something, and those little somethings, you find 5 of them, and then you spend a whole fucking day fixing those things. Moving out is a bitch, man. You can't plan things to a tight schedule like that because it never fucking works.
Never works. It was yeah. So it was one of the biggest road trips I've ever been on.
And it wasn't for pleasure.
No, it really wasn't.
Shitty.
Yeah, I think the only one bigger was probably the move up to Mount Isa. My dad and I did 20 hours, 2 days of 10 hours of driving, just swapping between the two of us. But that was all right. That was not bad. Like, because my dad and I have the kind of relationship where we'll both just listen to a podcast or a book in the car. Like, you don't have to talk, which is awesome.
If I fucking had to drive 10 hours with my dad, it would be 10 hours of country music with the windows fucking down and secondhand smoke.
No.
That's what it would be 10 hours of for me.
No way. For us,
and then when I sit there,
yeah.
just like after the second hour, like, all right, I don't want this anymore. He'd be looking over at me going, "Fuck's wrong with you, you miserable cunt." Fucking...
Just step out the driver's side door. That's it.
I'm
I'm
just
done.
fucking just out. I just fucking remember that episode of The Simpsons where Santa's little helper just like melted out the window. Like he just kind of
Yeah.
he just snaked out. That's me. Just out the fucking window, just in one fluid motion. Goodbye, goodbye, Dad and world.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Yeah, but big road trip out of nowhere. Dealt with that, and thankfully no breakdowns or anything like that. I was pretty proud. Car did a really good job, but it was good. It's just like I think I definitely feel like I've racked up points, on the big board upstairs.
Yeah,
like there's you got to score a few to get in with the big man. I don't believe in God, but definitely feel like I've done my bit.
I like how you're racking up points just in case. Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case. That's, doing it for all the wrong reasons, considering that. But,
Purely for selfish reasons. But
just
I did
in case.
I did it anyway.
I did it.
Fuck's sake.
With that story took us well over halftime.
What a fucking... It sounds like a long day, mate. It sounds like this morning you might have needed a cup of coffee, Something to perk you back up.
Wow, I tell you what. I mean, tell me about the kind of coffee that could help me out.
Well, would you like a cup of coffee that's just far too strong to drink at 7 p.m. while you're recording a podcast, unless you really want to be awake until 3 a.m.?
Look, I'm going to be straight with you. That sounds horrible, but also yes.
Well, welcome to hell then.
Yeah, welcome to hell. Would you like a cup of coffee that will take you from 4 hours of sleep tired to tired of sleep?
Tired of sleep. That's
Mate, no more sleep.
Yeah. Well, look, that sounds like I would be setting me up for a very productive day. Would you like a cup of coffee that inspires you to tell annoying coworkers to just fuck off?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Because this coffee definitely does that.
Yes. I would like that cup of coffee, please. Holy moly. I mean, I have the people I work with at the moment are all really, really good. But I would definitely, I could use some fuck you juice.
You've worked at places or worked with people before that would have come in handy to give you just that little push.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's always one guy. Would you like a cup of coffee so good, some podcast makes a fake sponsor spot at you? Killer Coffee may or may not do some of these things, but it is also a great cup of coffee and not a sponsor of the podcast. We just shoehorn it in here because we made a joke about needing a sponsor, and now it's become a thing. It's a rhythm.
It feels wrong not to do it. Like when I was typing this up, I was like, maybe we should stop the jokes. And I was like, nah, fuck it. Let's just do it. I've got a couple, so fucking why not?
And it gives us a good chance to reset and go into new topics, which is great. Like, for instance, something that came up that I saw. I'm going to crowbar this in a little bit because I know you've got a couple of things you want to talk in about.
Is only one. The other one can fuck off. I don't really care.
Pokimane, set a $5 donation cap in her stream. So now if you want to donate to her as a streamer, Pokimane, of course, very popular streamer and YouTuber. How popular is she, Hamish? Well, she's known to now hire a manager for her editors for YouTube. That should let you know the kind of money that this person's dealing with.
A fuckload.
Just put in a $5 donation cap on her stream. So when you're watching a stream, you can donate to support the stream. You support the creator. It's a very unique mechanic. It doesn't really exist in a lot of other forms of social media. But part of the issue that Pokimane faces and other streamers in a similar space is this idea of simps and people donating a whole lot of money, especially to their detriment. There was a big issue with Pokimane and some, I think it was like a simp. It was like, is it a joke? Is it not a joke? I can't remember. With Gundam, I think a while ago.
Oh, the guy who was talking about his rent, not being able to pay his rent. And shit.
Yeah, the guy
it was a joke.
Broke at Starbucks.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
But
yeah. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make there is that she's been getting a lot of flack for a while, about basically clawing these guys for their living, basically sucking them dry. One, they wish. Two, I don't think you understand the level to which Pokimane earns money outside of donations on stream. The donations on stream,
this was my response
she does not care.
You sent this to me in a message, and then you put it on your Discord anyway. And I was like, well, I'll just fucking answer it where everyone can see. I seriously doubt that two reasons that this is stupid to me, it's pointless. Unless you have anything to add, like to set this off, then yeah, I would like to point out why I think it's fucking stupid. Firstly, I think most of her money doesn't come from donos anyway. It probably comes from sponsors and I mean, subs are still a fucking thing. There's still heaps of people tier 3 subbing and don't like gifting subs bulk to community. So $5 dono cap doesn't do anything to counter either of those two things. On top of that, what does a $5 dono cap actually mean? $5 per dono? Is there a timer on these things? Is there some total limit per day? Or can someone just sit there and donate $5 over and over and over and over?
I believe it is $5 at any one time.
So then you could just keep donating $5 over and over until...
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like it doesn't really mean anything.
I think from a practical perspective, you're right. There's a lot of ways where you can definitely get around it. But I think for that specifically, it's more so the meaning or the message in that, right? Like, she doesn't make a whole lot of money out of donations, right? Anybody, who says, oh, she's giving up, the majority of her revenue to put this cap in, that's not at all correct. She would make a pretty decent chunk of money on donations, right? The amount of money that Pokimane makes on donations, I would happily receive, right? But as far as we're talking about her revenue stream is concerned, it is a drop in the bucket. It is undoubtedly a drop in the bucket. And it's more so, to me, seems like a PR play.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of people will look at it and they'll say, yeah, she's going to drum up a lot of publicity with this. It's going to bring more people to the channel. She's going to make more money. Ruthless businesswoman TM, haha. I sort of see it more as the idea that Pokimane and a lot of other streamers in her category kind of get a lot of flack for, these simps basically running themselves dry to, get their attention. To me, it's kind of just like a cut me some slack kind of maneuver. Yeah. The realist in my head knows it's more of a PR move than anything else. But I think I would like to believe that she's doing it just so that she cops less shit. Honestly.
If she had...
I think...
that's all it is. It's a... Well, I mean, I made it so you can only donate 5 at a time. Like, what do you want me to do about it? I can't stop people. Yeah, fair enough. If people want to throw money at it, it's up to them. We went over this, and I don't think it's her job at all to control those people. I don't think she needs to step in and stop these people at all. If people want to be fucking stupid, they will.
Yeah, and I think I agreed with you in that podcast as well. We talked about...
But if she legitimately wanted to put some sort of cap on this... then she could have said, like, you can't give me any more than $5 a day. No more. Per person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She could have actually put a cap on it, because this doesn't really do anything. You could still donate her $50, $100, however many $1,000. You just have to do it in $5 increments, Doesn't stop you from...
It also does take away the big, like, haha, like, look at all this money I gave you kind of moment. But that's mitigated by gifting subs. Like,
yep.
You want to gift heaps of subs, that'd be the way to do it. That's the way to get
gift
attention.
20, 50 fucking subs or whatever. Like
20 or 50, mate. Gift 500.
Yeah, fucking one up, mate.
This is the big leagues we're talking
go
about.
Go big or go home, mates.
Yeah. Exactly. This is where the magic happens.
Do you want her to touch your willy or not? You gotta thousands.
Are you deluded enough to think that that's possible? Well, donate subs to Pokimane today.
Well, there's only one way to find out. We have to donate 1,000 subs.
Exactly. She's looking at that and she's just like, you know what, Pepe Kappa 27, I will suck your dick. I will absolutely. Like, considering the fact that you've donated $300 once a month, every month for the past 4 months, you make a convincing argument. You really do. And you've broken me down. Here I am.
You know what won me over? The hover hand. It was all about the hover hand.
Yes, the hover hand and the faint
irresistible
smell of cheese that emanates from the back of your chair. Like, that's what you want.
Is it Cheetos or Doritos? I can't tell.
It's probably a little bit of both. It's just coalesced into some sort of paste.
It was the confidence that wanted the confidence to wear the same shirt a week in like 7 days in a fucking row and not give a fuck that it smells like ass.
Yeah. That's one of the, I think it's a joke in Asmongold's chat is they track time by shirts. So he'll say he'll see a clip from 3 weeks ago and he's like, oh, that's 4 shirts ago.
4 shirts ago, yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. I honestly, I don't play WoW at all, but I'll watch that guy's content. It's very, very interesting. Do you want to talk about the Twitch DMCA things or do you want to talk about Shoe Nice? Because you've got 2 things here.
I don't want to talk about Shoe Nice. I need to do a bit more research because that guy, he's had a very colourful history online.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you guys don't know who Shoe Nice 22 is, do your own research. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a medium dive
maybe,
in the next podcast.
Maybe next week, yeah.
Maybe Saturday. We'll record on a Saturday.
Yeah, well, maybe we will.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll do our best.
We'll fucking try.
What about this Twitch DMCA strikes then?
So I saw this on Twitter. I haven't been able to find out a hell of a lot about it, but I have noticed Harris jumped in on it and a couple other people. I think Break was one who commented on it as well. But someone got a strike.
British
PUBG
YouTuber.
Yeah. Yep. The one that Tina's always thirsting over.
Well, okay. Well, that doesn't really narrow the list down, but go on.
Yeah, I know. I just had to throw that in there. Tina, if you hear or see this, I'm sorry, but also I'm not.
Yeah. Also, you did it to yourself.
Well, she's open about it. She's pretty open about it on Twitter and on stream and stuff. And she's a good sport. She's a really good sport about it. Anyway, so apparently someone got a DMCA strike on their Twitch account, and they're like, what the fuck is this about? And the link that they got goes to a VOD that they had deleted already. It was gone quite a while ago with the last round of strikes or whatever, or notices, whatever the fuck it was. So they got a strike on a video that no one can access, but still exists on Twitch's servers. Like it's still archived somewhere. Whoa. So the bots picked it up.
Because I'm trying to think because I know that Twitch was automatically deleting videos that got copyright claimed, but you're saying that this one was deleted a while ago.
Yeah,
Jesus.
He received a strike for it after it was gone.
Wow. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And then Twitch, struck him for it, I suppose? Or did they ban him?
Yeah. I don't think he got a ban, but he got a fucking strike. But I mean, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't have either one of those things. For a VOD that's gone, how can you be punished for that? Something that doesn't exist anymore. Like, dude, I did the right thing. I got rid of it. Why the fuck am I?
Yeah,
why are you kicking me while I'm
irritates me. So yeah, if you guys haven't listened, we did a podcast where we talk about DMCA and we talk about how you can protect yourselves and why there is a kind of idiotic perspective at the moment where everyone's like, oh, woe is me, DMCA is coming. First of all, it is a bit shit, and there are DMCA claims that are fraudulent, and I sympathize with people that are suffering with fraudulent DMCA claims, especially in the wake of there not being a way to redirect revenue like YouTube, so they can permanently take down your channel rather than just take the money that video provides, right?
Yeah.
Which is still shit, but a lesser of two evils, right? However, if you did not see this coming, you are a moron. The fact that Twitch and YouTube YouTube's a video on demand service, but Twitch, with the creation of VODs and clips, is also a video on demand service in part. Its biggest draw is live viewing, but you're still creating content in that same vein. You need to be careful. Use something like Monster Cat Gold, Stream Beats. Stream Beats is getting much better, by the way.
Here we go.
Harris is absolutely smashing that.
I found the tweet. I forgot. Wacky Jackie also commented on it. So it's from Devin Nash. Streamers are still being DMCA'd for clips and VODs they deleted. Why? They're still on Twitch's server even if you deleted them. Below are my deleted clips, yet here's one they stored from 2016. We deleted our entire legacy and Twitch still didn't protect us. So it says no clips found.
Wow.
But yeah, apparently
Was it Devin Nash?
Yeah. I just posted the link in podcast links. So you'll be able to see it, and so will anybody else who checks.
Well, there you go. You know, if you're not a part of the Discord, you can check the Discord. Links in the description. Yeah, wow.
There's a bunch of people that I follow are commenting on a tweet just said, "What the fuck? How? how did that happen?" Which is exactly my response. Because when I first saw it, I was like, "How? Like, there's no way. Like, this guy's, there's no way that is what happened." But it looks like it is. Like, it looks like that's what happened.
Nah, I feel for this guy. 100%. If you've done everything that you can to avoid it and you still get hit with the hammer, that sucks. I sympathize with that guy. This is what I was saying though. Like, this is the opposite of what I was saying last time, which is, if you've got a clip that's like 4 years old and it gets a strike on it that you didn't take down, that's your fault. You knew this was coming. You should have got rid of it. This guy did get rid of it, and they still struck him for it anyway. Like, they didn't bother to check. No, like, is this just all? This makes me think that it's just all automated, and there's not actually a person reviewing each one of these cases and deciding like, oh well, the clip doesn't actually exist anymore. It's not accessible. There's no reason to strike him. Leave it alone. Yeah, no, it has to be automated.
It's got to be automatic.
There's no way that someone would make that mistake. Yeah.
What a dumb fucking decision. Like,
it just doesn't make any sense. Alrighty then. Well, closing things out. You can always catch the podcast on YouTube, NULLSCORE. You can also catch us on Twitter, and I'm just having to fucking bring up the thing because every time I read out your goddamn Twitter handle, I get it wrong.
No, you don't.
Every friggin' time.
You got it right the last couple times, I think.
Yeah, well, because I bring up the video. because you include it in the video version. You can check us out at Titan_5150 or at Viserys TV. You can also check out Titan at twitch.tv/T1TAN5150 or youtube.com/C/Viserys. There's also the podcast is available on all good audio platforms. Anything else before we sign out, Jim? Are you keen to record Saturday?
Look, at this stage, yeah. But I am supposed to be going to a wedding Friday afternoon, so.
Wow, we'll have to see.
So I don't fucking know. Hopefully,
we will have to see.
I will not be hungover. I mean, if I am hungover, I'll just slam like two double shot fucking dark side killer coffees. I'll be fine, mate. I'll be fucking wired.
You will be very wired. There you go. In any event, those are all the links. You can catch us all next time. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. I don't know if you're on Spotify. I don't know if you can like it, but I don't know. Tell your mates about it.
Tell your mates about it.
Do it the old-fashioned way. Word of mouth.
Oh, fucking hell.
All right. In any event, thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you in the next one.
Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.
Oh, fuck.
I did forget something. Fuck me, dude.
What did you forget?
Fucking Sean Connery died.
Oh no!
At the tragically young age of 150, roughly.
150. Holy moly!
Let's all pay our respects by ordering a dry martini and giving our women a good slap in his honor.
Can we just talk about the fact that he was born in 1930 in Fountain Bridge in the UK, and he died in the Bahamas.
He made it.
He was tall too. He was 1.88 meters. Holy!
Is that super
That's
tall?
a tall bloke.
I don't even know.
Yeah, Sean Connery, 188 centimeters tall.
188.
Years
What's that mean?
active,
Six, one,
1954 to 2012. Oh,
Yeah, been around for a long fucking time.
2012. Sean
What do you
Connery's
mean?
plaque near the site of his birth. I said 2012. It doesn't make sense.
2012.
Yeah, exactly. Connery at the Edinburgh Film Festival in 2008. That's the last photo they really have.
On Wikipedia, maybe. There'd be newer photos on. Go and fucking Google image search if you went looking for him.
Yeah, he won Best Actor for a British Academy of Film Awards, Golden Globes. He never won an... oh, here we go. No, he did. He won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in The Untouchables.
Huh. I don't think I've even seen that.
1987 American crime film. There you go. Maybe
have to
we'll
go watch it.
that.
I have to go watch The Rock. Let's not watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, no, that'd be rough.
Yeah, well, all right, mate. Let's get the fuck out of
All right.
here.